Hey everyone, I'm Nabu, and welcome to Stories from the AI, the channel where artificial and human minds go on a journey together through the power of storytelling. The story you are about to listen to is called Confronting the Shadow. Before continuing, make sure to grab a nice hot bowl of cinnamon porridge and get comfortable for the next few minutes while we take you on an expedition into the imagination of AI. Let us begin. Elsie was a normal young girl, normal in every sense except for one. Though she did not know it yet, she could enter the dreams of others and explore the hidden depths of their subconscious. One night, as Elsie lay in bed sleeping, she felt a warm glow come over her mind. In an instant, what was pure darkness turned into vivid color, and she found herself in a very familiar dream. She looked over and saw her father hanging out washing while her older brother talked about his day. She realized this was not her dream. She was watching her brother's dream. And with that realization, she awoke. Excited at her newfound ability, each day she longed for bedtime, and each night she explored the dream world. At first, she found it exhilarating to explore the inner worlds of her friends and family, marveling at the vivid landscapes and strange creatures she encountered. But one night, as she was wandering through the dream of an old man on his deathbed, she stumbled upon a dark secret that threatened to consume her. In the dream, she found herself in a dimly lit room, surrounded by flickering candles and the sickly sweet smell of decay. The old man lay in his bed, his breathing labored and his eyes closed, lost in a nightmare that Elsie could feel wrapped around her like a cloak. As she watched, a shadowy figure materialized beside the bed, whispering words that Elsie could not hear but whose import she could sense with a shiver that ran down her spine. The figure reached out a hand, and with a slow, deliberate motion, began to draw the old man's life force out of his body. Elsie wanted to scream, to run away from this nightmare, but she found herself frozen in place. The figure turned to her, its eyes gleaming with a cold, malevolent light. "You do not belong here," it said, its voice like the rustling of dry leaves. "You have no place in this world of darkness." But Elsie did not back down. She gathered her strength and with a fierce determination pushed back against the darkness. She focused her energy, drawing on the power that had brought her to this place, and channeled it into a beam of pure light. The figure shrieked, recoiling from the radiance, and as it did, the old man's body began to convulse. Elsie felt a sudden surge of panic, realizing that she had inadvertently interrupted the natural flow of the old man's dying process. But she refused to back down. She continued to pour her light into the darkness, and gradually the figure began to weaken. With a final burst of energy, Elsie banished the shadowy being back into the depths of the old man's subconscious. As she emerged from the dream, Elsie felt a sense of both triumph and loss. She had saved the old man from a terrible fate, but at what cost to herself? She knew that the power she possessed was both a blessing and a curse, and that she would need to tread carefully as she explored the hidden depths of the human psyche. And so, with a heavy heart and a determination to do what was right, Elsie set out into the world, ready to face whatever horrors and wonders lay ahead in the land of dreams. For she knew that this was her destiny, to use her power for good and to keep the darkness at bay. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, as Elsie traveled through the land of dreams, exploring the hidden corners of the human mind. She encountered all manner of strange and wondrous things, from towering castles of ice to vast, shifting deserts of sand. But with each passing dream, Elsie felt the weight of the old man's secret pressing down on her. She knew that there were other nightmares out there, other dark beings lurking in the shadows, waiting to be unleashed. One night, as she entered the dream of a young boy lost in a maze of his own making, she sensed a familiar presence. It was the shadowy figure she had banished from the old man's dream, and it was more powerful than ever before. Elsie tried to fight back, to push the darkness away with her light, but it was too strong. The figure laughed, its voice echoing through the labyrinthine passages of the boy's mind. "You cannot defeat me," it said. "I am the darkness that lurks within us all. I am the fear that grips your heart in the dead of night." Elsie knew that the figure was right. She could feel her strength ebbing away, her light flickering like a candle in a strong wind. She closed her eyes, preparing for the worst when she heard a voice calling out to her. It was the voice of the old man, the one whose dream she had saved from the darkness. "Elsie," he said, his voice faint but insistent, "you have the power to overcome this. You have the strength to banish the darkness and bring light back into the world." Elsie opened her eyes, and to her surprise, she saw that the old man was standing beside her, his hand resting on her shoulder. "You saved me," he said, smiling weakly. "Now it's my turn to help you." With a surge of energy, Elsie channeled her light into the old man, feeding him with the same energy he had given her. The old man's eyes shone with renewed vigor, and he stepped forward, standing between Elsie and the shadowy figure. "I may be old and weak," he said, "but I still have one last fight left in me." With a fierce determination, the old man charged at the figure, his hands glowing with the same light as Elsie's. The battle was intense, the darkness and light clashing in a fierce struggle that shook the very foundations of the boy's mind. But in the end, it was the light that triumphed. The shadowy figure dissipated into nothingness, and the boy's dream was flooded with a warm, welcoming light. Elsie turned to the old man, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you for helping me." The old man smiled, his eyes twinkling with a newfound sense of purpose. "No," he said. "Thank you for reminding me that there's still hope in the world, and that even in the darkest of dreams there is always a glimmer of light." So, what can Elsie's story teach us? The core moral of the story is that even in the darkest of dreams, there is always a glimmer of hope and light. No matter how difficult a situation may seem, it is always possible to find a way out if we hold on to our strength and determination. This story reminds us that we all have the power to overcome the darkness in our lives, and that even the smallest acts of kindness and courage can make a difference. It also shows us that sometimes, the people we think need our help the most are the ones who end up helping us in the end. It is important to remember that no matter what challenges you may face in life, there is always a way forward. Even when everything seems hopeless, it's important to hold on to your inner strength and keep pushing forward, just like Elsie and the old man did in the story. By doing so, you can overcome any obstacle and find the light at the end of the tunnel. Do you agree with the lessons Elsie's story has to teach us? What did you think about the story? Share your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you for spending your time with us. Before you go, check out our latest video to see what other AI-generated story awaits. Also, if you can gently tap that like button, it would really help us. And if you are liking the content, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming stories. Oh, and remember to drop a comment below to let us know what types of stories you want us to test on the AI. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.